The person making this video was not forced to by any stretch of the means and is in their own sound mind and is not being forced or coerced in any way, shape, or form to make this video in support of an event that is happening soon. Hello, everybody, and of course, welcome to my channel. This is the Ponderings of Pete, and I am, of course, Pete. Today, we are talking about a TBR, which I haven't done in a very, very long time. So, thank you for patiently waiting. I am doing this because my good friend Evie, over at She Was Only Evie, is doing a thing on Alan from the Library of Alexandria's Discord channel called Short Story Septober. Originally, I believe it was September, but then she stretched it out, which made it so much easier to fit into my schedule. Now, what is Short Story September, you say? Besides the obvious of it's September and October, and we read short stories? That's an excellent question. Well, Evie made this bingo board. It's a thing. And first of all, before we start on the bingo board, you need to know the difference between a collection and an anthology. And I'm saying this mostly for my sake because I keep forgetting, and Evie is eternally frustrated, and it's fine. Collections are books that include multiple short stories that are all by the same author. And anthologies are the opposite. They're long books of long stories? No, short story books where all the short stories collected are from different authors. So that out of the way. So for my personal remembrance, because I need reminded every 5 minutes. So the prompts, these are the these are the 9 prompts. And why do we need prompts? Because you want to get bingo. Why do we want to get bingo? So you can get a gold star that you bought from the store for yourself. Probably, maybe that's not. Yeah. This is Septober is kind of super chill, very rules light. You can even use the same collection / anthology for multiple prompts if you wish. Because it's all about getting a little bit of dopamine from the bingo board if you really want to, but also just focusing on short stories for 2 months. But that doesn't mean necessarily like reading all short stories. Like some people are just going to read 1 or 2. Just fit 1 or 2 and participate and talk to us about them because they're fun. Evie politely asked me to be one of the leads, which doesn't mean much besides, hey, what books are you reading for Short Story Septober? And you should make a video, aka this video. So, I'm going to make a TBR. But with this chaotic explanation also comes, finally, an explanation of the different prompts. We have the sci-fi SFFF, FFFFF, all the Fs, it's just FFF. It's just SFF. There we go. That's the right number of Fs. Anthology or collection, there's 2 prompts. And then there's horror collection or horror anthology. And those are 2 prompts. And then we get into 1 prompt that is just translated collection or anthology. Another prompt is just a literary collection or anthology. And then we have 3 more. We have the indie or self-pub collection or anthology. And then finally, second to finally, we have the classic collection or anthology. And then the very last one is a readathon collection or anthology. And what that means is we have on Ellen's Discord in the bingo board and rules channel, I believe there's actually like a section that's for short story Septober, right, that she made. In that section, you can look on the bingo board and rules channel thingamajigger, and there will be like a list of books at the bottom of post by Evie of all the leads that have their books that they're reading. And we each pick 2, 1 collection, 1 anthology. First of all, let me double check what a collection anthology is because I said every 5 minutes. Cool, I got it. Same collection, same anthology, different. So the first 2 books that I will be reading and are also the readathon picks that I have are The Hidden Girl and Other Stories by Ken Liu. I really like Ken Liu. I've read a lot of his other work, including Dandelion Dynasty, which is like my favorite series of all time because it's awesome. And then I've also read Paper Menagerie. So I'm getting on this one, which I've heard some really interesting things about some of these short stories. And this is a collection. I didn't look down to check my notes. Definitely not. And then my anthology, because process of elimination, is Carbide Tip Pens, edited by Ben Bova. In my short time period in examining sci-fi short story collections, Ben Bova edits a lot of them, or edited a lot of them. He might be dead. I don't know if he's dead. Double check me on that. He's not dead. He might be dead. I don't know. He's the Schrodinger's editor of short stories. It's fine. But he edited this one, along with Eric Choi. Let's not forget our good man Eric Choi. He edited this as well. What else? What do I know about this? Basically nothing. I know it's a sci-fi short story collection. I have a bunch of Ben Bova sci-fi short story collections, and I think a friend at one point said, "Hey, that one is really good." So it's been on my shelf. Actually, that's not all the short stories I'll be reading. We have more. We have Stories from the Sea. I believe I actually picked this up when I was in Ireland. No, I didn't, actually. I saw this book in Ireland, didn't buy it, and then bought it online later. That's what happened. So this is Legends, Adventures, and Tragedies of Ireland's Coast. It was part of a series of books that I think were just stories from Ireland, and I was wanting to get some more short stories about, the sea. So, more resources for an eventual pirate novel, maybe? I have no idea. Maybe. The next one is... Have I ordered it yet? It's coming eventually. I believe it's pronounced, I could be wrong, Iki Papalua? Maybe. This is a short story collection of Hawaiian myths. Editing Pete here, and this book, Iki Papalua, which finally came, is not actually a bunch of Hawaiian myths. It's actually a bunch of Hawaiian-inspired sci-fi and short story, which is something I haven't really read much of before, actually anything involving the Hawaiian culture. So this will be interesting. I was turned on to this by my friend Alethea over on Alan's Discord. She was talking about this. I was like, ooh, that sounds really interesting. I want to read that. And the perfect opportunity came up. So I'm going to read it. Next up, we have my first Ted Chiang, Stories of Your Life and Other Things, right? Stories of Your Life and Others, right? There we go. I've heard lots of good things about this from Evie, from Angela, the Literature Science Alliance, and other people that I don't remember, and I'm so sorry. I forgot if you've said anything about this. Yeah. So I have this. Maybe Ben and Grace or Grace from their channels. Oh. I've just heard good things about Ted Chiang in general. Next up, we have Ray Bradbury, Sing the Body Electric. I really like Ray Bradbury. I have read several of his books, many of his books, and I am looking forward to reading another short story collection by him. I have read The Illustrated Man and October Country, as well as reading a bunch of his stuff like, I almost said 1984. That's not right, but Fahrenheit 451. They both have numbers in the name. Excuse me. And then, what's the other one? Yes, the one that is my favorite, Something Wicked This Way Comes. Also The Halloween Tree, which is very short. Ray Bradbury is just a really good author that I really enjoy reading. He does have some misses occasionally, but for the most part, everything that he writes is gold. The next two are somewhere in my stacks. I just didn't pull them out. I can. Emphasis, I definitely can. I just didn't pull them out for this. We have Under My Skin by KJ Parker and Academic Exercises by KJ Parker. I have both of those. I've actually gotten halfway through Academic Exercises, piecing it together or piecemealing it over the past year. And I really hope actually to get both of these done over the next 2 months because I've been looking forward to reading them all. But it's been piecemeal. Again, I've been focusing on books instead of short stories because I have found it hard to focus on short stories in the past. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. I don't really know how my approach is going to go. The last set of short stories I'm going to do throughout these next 2 months, maybe, is this book. It's World Imagined. This is one of my collection of just older sci-fi short stories that I have. Not collection as in collection by the same author, but I have a bunch of different books that are all sci-fi short stories. They're not all titled that, but they're all random titles. there was a lot of sci-fi short stories back in like the 70s and 80s or whatever, and earlier maybe. I don't know when they were all published. There's a bunch of collections by Ben Bova. There's a bunch of other things, just like things that come out like every year, and I don't know if they still do. I think they might. But yeah, so I have that stack somewhere, and this is one of those stacks. This Worlds Imagined includes short science fiction novels by Asimov, Clark, Heinlein, Sturgeon, Samuel R. Delany, James Blish. Compiled by Robert Silverberg. So when I've looked at sci-fi short story collections, the two big names that I see are Robert Silverberg and Ben Bova. So this is one of those. Also, it's old, so it smells good. Just emphasis on that. Those are the books that I'll be reading over the next 2 months. That's not all of the books I'll be reading. That's just the short story books. I do have other like read-alongs and stuff that I'm doing with people, like Jade City Readathon on Tori's channel and some other stuff. Also I'm wearing not a beanie today, so I hope that's not too weird. Have a great rest of your day. Read some short stories. Tell me what collections or anthologies you're doing, because I certainly forgot which of these were collections and anthologies because I didn't talk about it. I know the Ray Bradbury is a collection, as is Ted Chiang and Ken Liu. Worlds Imagined is an anthology, and Stories from the Sea is an anthology because I think there's 2 authors. Question. I mean, if you collect fairy tales, is it a collection because you wrote them all down, or an anthology because they're taken from a different source? It's a Schrodinger's collection anthology. Maybe not. Anyways, good night. Get some rest.